Hello everyone, this is Diane. I'm here to do a little more playing in my winter gnome journals. And I don't want to get carried away with the rustic or grungy look. I was having fun with that, and I still will have fun with that. But I want to make sure I keep the whimsy. So I'm going to do a little more whimsy today. So I just took these embossing folders, and these are both Park Lane from Joann's. There's some woodland animals and owls, and they are quite cartoony and cute like the gnomes. And I took some cardstock pieces that would go along with the colors here and made pockets. After I embossed the images, I used these dies to cut the top of the pockets. So I noticed that they're not quite as embossed after I cut the tops of the pockets. So I think the better thing to do would be to cut the shape of the pocket first and then emboss it. So with this one, I had these turned this way because this took up the whole width of the plate. But I turned this one this way, and I rolled it through just to there and then backed it out, so this didn't get pressed, and that retained its embossing. So I'm going to try rubbing some ink over them to make the embossing stand out more. This has reddish ink on it from yesterday. It was this acorn ink. It has a reddish tint to it. So I'm using my vintage photo, but I don't care if it gets reddish on it. So this is the one that didn't get pressed down. That stands out very nicely. And I tore my paper in half because it's a 6-inch tray and I had 12-inch paper, so I tore it in half. So it's got that torn edge, and rather than trim it and neaten it up, I'm just going to leave it torn. Actually, it might be too big, I think. Well, no, these pages are 6 inches. I might just want to trim it a tiny bit so it's not right up to the fold. So I better trim that and then ink it again. I guess I'll trim off that torn edge just so this is still centered. Let's see if that's enough. Yep, that's good. It's got a pocket on that side. That would look cute right there. I'm just seeing if I cut off enough. I think just to make it a little more comfortable, trim off just a tiny bit more. Goes right to the edge of that leaf, the tip of that leaf. I cut off a tiny bit of the tip. That's good. I'll try stamping a little of this. Looks like splatter. I had said in yesterday's video, or the day before, that I wanted to do some splatter, but I meant real splatter. But I think that because I'm in the midst of destashing and everything just seems messy to me and unorganized, because I have stuff here and there that I've been destashing. I'm looking for the other brown color that I have. I used it to stamp the deer yesterday. Oh, here it is. This one is Fallen Leaves. Somebody asked me about the first color of ink I used, and I don't know which color was the first, but I have the Acorn, which is the reddish color, and Fallen Leaves, which I used to stamp the deer and whatever the other animal was that I stamped. Fox, maybe? Ooh, that's pretty dark. Let me stamp that on here. All right, I got some of the ink off, so let's just try stamping a little bit of spatter on here. And I'll put some of this darker brown around the edge too. So we're still rustic, but it's whimsical too. And I might sew that to the page. Will I? Will I? I don't know. Let me look. And that'll be on the back. Yeah, I think I'll sew that to the page. So I'm just gonna paper clip it in place. And I could add a little something to, like a tiny bit of lace or something up there, or cheesecloth or whatever I feel like adding. Just looking to see if I have something in here. Speaking of cheesecloth, there's a little bit right there. I don't know if this will cut it. I don't know if I want this on here. I'm just checking it out. So I am working on listing some things in my shop. And today's Saturday evening as I'm doing this video, so I'm hoping to have those things listed tomorrow, Sunday. You'll see this video after that. But so I just have stuff here and there. I don't want to make too much more of a mess. I don't know if I like that. Maybe just a piece of lace. I don't know. I'll just think about that. All right, so let's work on, let's see how it looks with this one that actually got pressed down a little more. This has all kinds of colors of brown on it now. I better trim it first. I want to know where to trim it. So I'm going to center this. This is a little bit longer too, which doesn't matter. Well, I'm going to do it. Right, and I will trim a little bit more off the bottom. And it does help them stand out more. Look at the difference. These are definitely more deeply embossed, but you can clearly see them here. Let's see how it looks on this peach color. This is a thinner paper. I'm gonna have to cut some of that bear off, I think, if I want this. Maybe this will have to be off-centered because there's a lot more space to cut over here. Ooh, I got a smudge on it. Hopefully putting the speckles on will help hide that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut off some of the bear. How cute. These are whimsical, just like I wanted. And I'm also going to make some things with some of my cut off pieces of the Stampin' Up! Paper. So actually use some gnomes, and I'll stamp my, well, I have my other gnomes, the gnomes stamped from my Hobby Lobby set of stamps. So I'll paint them and make some ephemera with them too. So we will have some whimsical stuff. I just didn't want to get too carried away with the rustic and not have room for the whimsical. I guess I just can't make up my mind what style I am. Rustic, whimsical, shabby chic, retro. I like it all. Okay, let's look at that paper. Better wash my hands before I smudge anything else. I'm cleaning this off right now because it could, if I laid something on top of it, which I've been known to do, it could transfer the ink to something I don't want it to. I have these scrap pieces here. I can cut out these mushrooms and use them for embellishments. I could cut out the little gnomes and use them for embellishments. And I thought about cutting out the moose, maybe some of these animals, and some of these with the smaller designs I could make pockets out of, or even the back sides of them. Oh, that's the back side of the mushrooms. I think this would be, I have 2 of these, so I could make pockets with one side and pockets with that side. But I don't know how many pockets we need, so let's not get carried away with the pockets. I do need to make some embellishments too. So I have this pocket to put here. And this one will go in the other journal. And let's skip to the 3rd signature and put, oh, I've already got that there. I didn't have to cut that bear off. This isn't too wide. Maybe I'll put that in here. Let me see if I want to move this. I'll put that right there. So I only have 2 of those folders, so for the middle signature, I'll make a pocket with one of these. This is what I have to put it on, so I need something that will look nice on that. That's the right color. I mean, it matches the color. But I think that would be too busy on it. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to trim off this row of trees because the tips are cut off and it's a little too tall anyway. The pages are 6 inches wide, so I'm going to cut this at 5.5. And I'll trim off that row of trees. And I want to put something, might as well make another one, at the top of that pocket to make it stand out from the background. So I could use a strip of paper or cardstock or a trim, but I think I'll use a piece of maybe a die cut cardstock. I mean, not die cut, but border punched. Yeah, there's enough peach in this that I think this would look nice with it. So I'll cut this at 5.5 inches. I'll cut it at 1.5 inches wide, but I'll probably trim it after I border punch it. I want it to be a simple border punch because there's a lot of pattern on the background paper. So let me grab a border, a punch. This one is one of my favorites, and it's one of my oldest ones. It's a scallop with no fancy design, just something simple. That looks good. And because this is the front of the signature, I'm just going to glue that pocket on so we don't have stitches on that front side. But I will stitch this to it and then stitch around to make it look like I sewed it on. So that takes care of three pockets in each signature, in each journal, I mean. Now, let's look at the other pockets we have. This one that hasn't been added yet. That one isn't finished. And this one, but I only have one of those. So I think what I'll do is I'll get out my Christmas stamps and look for the snowflake stamps that I have. And I can do the white embossing powder with snowflakes all over that to make a top tuck. Let me look. I have one pocket here. And one pocket there. Okay, we're not overdoing the pockets yet. I could put that one there. And I'll sew that on. And wait, I only have one of these. I'm not going to make 3 of these for each journal, so I'll have to make another sort of a pocket for, oh, I've got this pocket too that I have to do in all the signatures. I'm going to make another kind of a corner pocket on the other signatures. Or it's too much snowflake. Maybe that could go on this. All right, so here's what I'll do. Again, I am just thinking out loud and planning as I go. I have this pocket for this signature. So for this pocket, or for this signature, instead of having a pocket here, I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put it right there, and you can tuck something up in there. And I'm not going to sew that because I don't want brown thread on that white, because it's snowflake. You don't want dirty snow. I'll just glue that on right now. I cut this snowflake piece with my Cricut in case you missed that video. And then my Cricut is not working very well for cutting intricate things. It just ruins them. But it cut that one, not perfectly, but it cut it. And then I tried to cut one for this, and it didn't work at all. So I'm kind of giving up on my Cricut for intricate things. I'm going to use my Big Shot, as I have been. But I don't have snowflake dies. So I'm going to use my stamps on that, like I said. So that'll be in that signature, or in that journal. Maybe this guy can go right here. So what else can I do with this paper? I'm going to cut out some mushrooms and gnomes, and maybe just make some embellishments. Where are the gnomes? Here they are. Some banners or little circle embellishments. Didn't I have 2 pieces of that one? Not sure where I put it, but it's got several gnomes I can cut out. So I don't think I'll do anything. Oh, and I've got, let me see what I have in here. Don't want to forget the little embellishments that I have pulled. Thought about using this. It's a 3D embosslet piece. Those can go in pockets. I've got these little Victorian pieces to use. Did I use that? Yes, I used the bigger one on the glassine bag, so I'll do that with that. I hope I'm not just blathering and confusing everybody, because again, I didn't have a plan today. It's been a week where I just don't have a good block of time in here. It's just get in here and do something when I can. So I think I'll cut the blue mush. Oh, what was that? I think an ink pad fell. Nope, a box of stamps fell off my tray. I'll cut this out, and I will make some sort of embellishment with it. How long have I been doing this? About half an hour. Well, you don't need to watch me cut out, so let's do a little more work on the pages. I'll cut out some of these things later. I think I'll just leave these the way they are because they're so cute. And this introduces you to the gnomes, the gnome concept in the book. So this page is done. Well, that side of it is. Yeah, it's a fox and a deer, and then I embossed that snowflake border we have this rustic embellishment here. I wanted to do something on this page. Maybe with stamps. I will stamp a gnome on here. And I talked about the fact that these are spring gnomes because they have flowers and gardening tools, but at least one person told me that it doesn't matter if they're spring gnomes. I'm going to use them anyway. So I will stamp the gnomes and then add a mushroom. And I'm using the Fallen Leaves color. Maybe I'll put them on this side. Because it's a gnome journal and I don't want to not use my gnome stamps. I don't think I have that many opportunities to use my gnome stamps. I was looking for some texture stamps just to add some rustic or grungy elements. That could look like abstract snow if I just stamp that down the side. Just playing, guys, just playing. See how it turns out. I'm actually doing it on a journal page, so I hope it turns out. But it's not going to be white like snow. I'm just gonna do it as an abstract design here. And I've got this cluster already sewn on the back, so it's not going to stamp perfectly. I mean, glued to the back. Those little X's, I wonder where they are. They're not in here. How about just this? Looks like that. Just do that up the side of this page. I'll probably add some fabric here, like maybe just wrap it around the edge of that page a little bit. Maybe I'll put this in here to break up those two pages. I guess I said I was going to sew that, right? Well, I think that's all the playing for today. I have to go make some dinner. And yep, when I decided that I really needed to get back to some whimsical stuff, I was anxious to get in here and play with it. So I'll cut some of these pieces out while I'm watching TV tonight, after I get my stuff listed in the shop. Yeah, there's always something to do. Well, I had fun in here for the few minutes that we got to play today. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you come back to see what happens next. And I hope you're not getting tired of seeing Gnomes stuff. I'll see you in the next video. And do something creative today. Bye-bye.